You're telling me all of this emotional distress was for nothing? Okay, hey guys, I'm Ricky with WatchMojo, and today I'm kinda mad because we're counting down our picks for the top 10 difficult video game choices that didn't matter. Before we begin, we publish new videos every day, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we're taking a look at tough video game decisions that may have stressed players out, but in the end, didn't affect the way the plot unfolded. Alright, let's get nervous.
The men are asking, what do we do now?
We complete our mission.
Number 10. On Trail, Chrono Trigger. One of the most revered RPGs of all time, Chrono Trigger follows a young boy jumping through time periods in search of his missing friend, who also happens to be the princess. Unfortunately for him, he's mistakenly arrested for attempting to kidnap the princess. The player then has to go through a trial, bombarded with questions about Chrono's intentions, all of which are based on your actions during the prologue. But even if you're found to be not guilty, Chrono will still be thrown in prison and sentenced to execution. This obviously doesn't happen, but it was nonetheless a stressful situation. How does this legal system work? Number 9. Control, Destroy, or Synthesize, Mass Effect 3. The ending of BioWare's sci-fi trilogy is notorious by now, and it's all because it boils down to a decision that negates every other one. Players were given 3 options: destroy or control the Reapers, the trilogy's primary antagonists, or synthesize all organic and synthetic life together into a new hybrid species. But this decision was much more linear than what the developers had promised. No matter which options you choose, the energy from the Crucible forced the mass relays to explode and the blast spreads throughout the galaxy. Not only is each ending cutscene not too different from one another, but the backlash was so bad that BioWare had to go back and make an extended version of the ending. Number 8. Choosing a starter, Pokémon Go. One of the first and most difficult decisions many players had to make was choosing between Squirtle, Bulbasaur, and Charmander in the original Pokémon games. Each was completely different from one another, and you couldn't find the other two anywhere else in the game. This ensured different ways of playing, but also built a bond between player and creature. So when Pokémon Go was released, some players may have thought that they'd be put through the same tough decision. While you did have to choose, all 3 can be easily found later on. Plus, your first Pokemon's level will be so low that you're better off getting rid of him. Making this choice meant nothing, and the starters felt a bit less special than they deserve. Number 7. Cure Cancer or Solve World Hunger, Saints Row 4.
Oleg and I are about to head over to Camp David to watch some Nightblade. Yep. You down?
A classic, Sophie's Choice, THQ's action-adventure franchise had already become known for its sheer amount of ridiculousness before Deep Silver acquired the rights. And to ensure fans the series was in the right hands, they presented players with absurd decisions at the beginning of the game. As president, you can choose to pass one of 2 bills that will either cure cancer or solve world hunger.
Cancer can kiss my ass. Good choice.
As if they can be solved so easily. However, it makes no difference which one you pick, because aliens invade in the next scene, and eventually the Earth gets destroyed. All that HD progression gone to waste.
I'm your #1 fan!
Number 6. The 2 Prisoners, Spec Ops: The Line.
This is Dubai, Captain. This is what I face every day.
We've talked a lot about this game and how it messes with the mind, but it also gives the illusion that the player has to make tough decisions. In one section, Captain Martin Walker is forced to make a decision on which of 2 prisoners will live and which will die. A man who stole hard-to-find water in the desert, or the soldier that captured him and killed his family in the process. Whoever you save, Conrad's men will kill the other one. However, neither of these men show up later in the game, because the ending later reveals that they were both already dead, and Walker hallucinated the whole thing.
You create your own.
What the hell happened?
I don't know, he just stopped moving.
Walker, snap out of it!
I get it.
Number 5. Siding with different races. Dragon Age Origins. Along with Mass Effect, BioWare also forced players to make tough decisions in this high fantasy RPG. Unfortunately, the decisions players made, while seemingly game-altering, didn't actually have an effect on how the main story played out. Players controlled a Grey Warden, a guardian that had to choose which races to unite and which to destroy in order to defeat the archdemon, Urthemiel.
We should also collect scholars to learn more about the Darkspawn. We'll face them again, here and with the dwarves.
Who lives and who perishes is essentially up to personal preference though, as it doesn't have any change on how the plot progresses. While the final cutscene and epilogue features your companions, your choices don't have any consequences in regards to the main plot.
Let it also be known that the Arling of Amaranthine, once the land of Arl-How, is now granted to the Grey Wardens.
Number 4. Choosing a Brooch. BioShock Infinite.
What are you doing?
You're a roguish type. What does it look like?
The third entry in this renowned FPS series presented heavier focus on story than the first two, and even included a tantalizing choice early on in the game. After you rescue Elizabeth, the mysterious Lutece twins approach and offer her the choice between two brooches, one with a cage and one with a bird.
The bird is beautiful and the cage is somber, but there's really something special about it.
Given that the cage can represent how Elizabeth has been locked up her whole life, and that the bird can signify the songbird, it's not a stretch to think that this choice could potentially foreshadow consequences later on in the plot. But it literally was inconsequential. Other than a minor change in Elizabeth's appearance, it amounts to nothing. Yes, there is more of an inner meaning about choices being inconsequential, but come on.
You all right?
Where am I?
Back in the land of the living.
Number 3. Drop Hannah or let go. Until Dawn.
Oh my god, I can't believe you actually did this.
This narrative-driven horror game was praised due to the choices of the player impacting which character survived. But there was one tough choice where the options led to the same outcome. During the opening, Hannah runs into the wilderness after a mean-spirited prank. The tutorial has players control her sister, Beth, as she searches for her, and the two must escape from an unseen creature. After tumbling over a cliffside, players have the option of letting go of the branch, killing you both, or dropping Hannah to her demise to reach for a stranger's hand. The choices are grim either way, and you don't have much time to decide. It doesn't matter though, as both options lead to both girls falling to their deaths. Number 2. How to Deal with Ramsay Bolton. Game of Thrones, a Telltale game series.
Let me guess. Forrester Iron.
Carved by our most skilled craftsmen.
Fans of HBO's fantasy series know exactly how horrible Ramsay Bolton can be. So when he showed up in Telltale's game, stress levels of players undeniably skyrocketed. The game focuses on the Forresters, a minor family in control of a coveted supply of wood. And when Ramsay shows up at episode 1's ending to secure that supply, it's up to the player, as Ethan Forrester, on how to deal with him.
I never had a sister. Always wanted one.
We have more to discuss, Lord Snow.
It's when he turns his eyes toward Ethan's twin sister that things take a turn for the disastrous. You wouldn't want anything bad to happen to your sister, but standing up for her would certainly spell doom for young Ethan. But the psychotic Ramsay slays Ethan in front of his family, no matter what.
Ethan! No!
What have you done?
Number 1. Leave or kill Clementine. The Walking Dead, the final season.
Got any more ammo?
There isn't any more.
As the final Telltale game to be made, it seemed only natural they'd get the top billing on this list. This scene, in a callback to the iconic ending of the first season, now sees Clem in Lee's position where she has been bitten by a walker, and just like last time, she has to tell young AJ to either kill or leave her.
AJ, you have to kill me.
However, no matter what you decide, both paths end with AJ swinging the axe at Clementine as the screen cuts to black, and Clem's journey ends just like how it started. Psych! It actually turns out that Clementine survived. AJ actually cut off her infected foot, thus preventing her from turning. Well played, Telltale. Well played.
AJ. What is good?
Come on, developers. Choices have to have consequences, or else what's the freaking point? Alright guys, thank you for sitting through all of these meaningless choices. Please, let us know which one of these got you most frustrated, and if you want more gaming videos, just subscribe to WatchMojo. It's that easy.